Welcome to Finding Holiness, where we delve into timeless Torah wisdom, revealing the sacred in everyday moments. Join us on a journey to elevate your spirituality and discover holiness in every aspect of life. I'm your host, Rabbi David Kadosh, and together, let's embark on a path of spiritual exploration. I hope you enjoy this next episode. All right, Perak Yud Daled, Mishnah Aleph, Masechet Yevamot. 3 parakim left in this Masechet. Probably going to finish one today. Cheresh shenasa fikahat. You have a deaf-mute man who married a normal woman. Ufikeach shenasa chereshet, or a normal man married a deaf-mute woman. Im ratza yotzi. In both cases, if the husband wishes, he can divorce her. Ve'im ratza yekayem. And if he wants, he can keep her. Keshem shehu chones birmiza. Because just like he can marry someone by just gesturing, like nodding his head, kach hu motzi birmiza. So too he can divorce through gesturing his intention, even though the cheresh lacks intelligence, but he can also divorce that way. Pikeach shenasa vikachat v'nitcharsha. If a normal man married a normal woman, and then afterwards the wife became a deaf-mute, so the marriage is valid. Im ratza yotzi. If the husband wants, he may divorce her. Ve'im ratza yekayem, and if he wishes, he can keep her as a wife. He wants to keep her as a wife. Nishtateh. All right, but if the wife became insane after they got married, lo yotzi, he can no longer divorce her. Because if he divorces her and she's by herself, the rabbis were worried that people will begin to treat her immorally, and she won't be able to protect herself because she's insane. Nitcharesh hu o nishtata. If the husband became a deaf-mute or insane after they got married, eno motzi olamit, he can never divorce her. And the reason is because in order to divorce someone, you need to have dat, you need to have intent. And since the person went crazy, he cannot divorce her. Amar Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri challenges this and says, Mipnei ma ha'isha shenitcharesha yotzet. Why is it that a woman who became deaf-mute is able to be divorced? Ve'aish shenitcharesh eno motzi. But if a man who became deaf-mute cannot give a divorce, Amru lo, the rabbis told him, like we said, Eno domeh ha'ish hamgaresh leisha mitkareshet. A man who divorces cannot be compared to a woman who is being divorced. She'aisha yotzeh lirtzona v'shelo lirtzona. A woman can leave a marriage, can be divorced with her consent or without her consent. Ve'aish eno motzi ela lirtzono. But a man can only divorce a woman with his consent. And therefore, if a person if a man is mitcharesh, he needs to legally intend to divorce, and a deaf-mute cannot do that. Ha'id Rabbi Yochanan ben Gudgeda. Rabbi Yochanan ben Gudgeda testified ala chareshet sheisiya avia, concerning a deaf-mute girl whose father married her off when she was a child. Shehi yotza beget, that she may be divorced with a get, meaning the get is given to her and not her father. Amru lo, the Chachamim then sent to Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, Af zo kayotze ba. This one, meaning the wife who became a deaf-mute after her marriage, is also the same as a deaf-mute married off by the father. She may also be divorced. Her consent is not required, which is kind of similar to what we said the previous Mishnah. Shnei achim chereshim nesuim lishtei achayot chereshot. 2 deaf-mute brothers are married to 2 deaf-mute sisters. Or lishtei achayot pikchot, or they're married to 2 normal sisters. Or lishtei achayot achat chereshet ve'achat pikachat, or they're married to 2 sisters. One of them is deaf-mute, one of them is normal. Or shetei achayot chereshot nesuot lishnei achim pichim, or if 2 deaf-mute sisters are married to 2 normal brothers, or lishnei achim chereshin, or to 2 deaf-mute brothers, or lishnei achim echad cheresh ve'echad pikeach, or 2 brothers, one who is deaf-mute and one who is normal. So this is the law if one of the brothers was to die without children and the widow falls to the second brother for Yibum. All of these widows, in all of these cases, if it was to happen, are exempt from both Chalitza and Yibum, because in each case the widow is a sister to the wife of the second brother, therefore she's forbidden as an erva. Ve'im ayu nochriyot. But if in any of the above cases, the 2 wives that were involved were nochriyot, they were strangers, meaning they were not related, they were not sisters, yichnosu, then the second brother in each case should marry them, perform yibum with the widow, since she's not nervatem, ve'imratu leotziu yotziu. And now afterwards, if he wants to, they want to divorce the widow, they may divorce. Okay, last Mishnah in the parak. It's a bit long, but we still have some time, so we'll get through it. Shnei achim, echad cheresh ve'echad pikeach. You have two brothers. One of them is deaf mute. One of them is normal. Nesuim lishtei achayot pikchot. They were married to two normal sisters. Met cheresh ba'ala pikachat. The deaf mute, who was the husband of one of the normal sisters, he died. Ma yaseh pikeach ba'ala pikachat. What should the normal brother do who is married to the other normal sister? So tetzeh mishum achot isha. The Mishnah says he cannot do yibum or chalitza. The widow goes free from yibum because he, on account of being the sister of his wife, who's married to him on a biblical level, so therefore patur from yibum and chalitza. Another case, met pikeach ba'ala pikachat. If the normal brother, which is the husband of the normal sister, died without children, ma yaseh cheresh ba'al pikachat. What should the deaf mute brother do, the husband of the normal sister? Now, in this case, their marriage is only on a rabbinic level, and the brother's wife was married to him on a biblical level. So it's not, you cannot say it's an erva over here. So therefore, the Mishnah says motzi ishto beget. The deaf mute needs to divorce his own wife with a get because now she's forbidden to him as the sister of a yevama. Ve'eshet achiv asura leolam, and his brother's wife is forbidden to marry anyone forever. He cannot perform yibum with her because she's his wife's sister on a rabbinic level. She can also not marry any other man because she is biblically bound to him for yibum, and he cannot free her from this bond with chalitza because he's deaf. So therefore, the brother's wife is forbidden to marry anybody. I know this is hard to figure out in your head. But you can listen to it over and over again if you want. Shnei achim pikchim, two normal brothers. Nesuim lishtei achayot, achat chereshet ve'achat pikachat. They were married to two sisters, one of them deaf, one of them normal. Met pikeach ba'al chereshet. If the normal brother, the husband of the deaf sister, died without children, ma yaseh pikeach ba'al pikachat. What should the normal brother, who is the husband of the normal sister, do? Tetzeh mishum achot isha. He doesn't do anything because the widow goes out of being the sister of his wife. The reverse case, met pikeach ba'al pikachat. If the normal brother, the husband of the normal sister, died without children, ma yaseh pikeach ba'al chereshet. What should the normal brother, the husband of the deaf mute sister, do? His marriage to the deaf mute sister was only rabbinic, and the brother's marriage was biblically valid, so it cannot be considered an erva. So therefore, motzit ishto baget, he has to divorce his wife with a get because she's now the sister of his yevama, who's bound to him on a biblical level, and therefore rabbinically forbidden to him. Ve'et eshet achi b'chalitza, and he releases his brother's wife through chalitza. He cannot do yibum with her because she's his wife's sister on a rabbinic level, but since he is normal, he can do chalitza with her and permit her to remarry. Shnei achim, echad cheresh ve'echad pikeach. Two brothers, one of them deaf and one of them normal. Nesuim lishtei achayot, married two sisters. Achat chereshet ve'achat pikachat, also one deaf and one normal. Met chereshet ba'al chereshet. The deaf mute, who was the husband of the deaf mute sister, died. Ma yaseh pikeach ba'al pikachat. What should the normal brother who married the normal sister do? Tetzeh mishum achot isha. He does not do anything. He doesn't do yibum or halitza because the widow goes on from being the sister of his wife, so she's free. Met pikeach ba'al pikachat. But if the normal brother, the husband of the normal sister, died, ma yaseh cheresh ba'al chereshet. What should the deaf mute brother, the husband of the deaf mute sister, do? In that case, this marriage is only rabbinic, so it cannot free the widow from the yibum bond. Motzi ishto beget. He divorces his wife with a get because the sister of the yevama is rabbinically forbidden to him. Ve'eshet achiv asura leolam, and his brother's wife is forbidden to marry anyone forever. Same reasons before. He cannot perform yibum with her because she's his wife's sister, and she cannot marry any other person because she's biblically bound to yibum. But the problem is he cannot perform chalitza because he is deaf. Shnei achim, echad cheresh ve'echad pikeach. Still a few more cases, guys. I told you it's long Mishnah. Two brothers, one of them deaf, one of them normal. Nesuim lishtei nochriot pikchot. They were married to two unrelated women, both normal. Met cheresh ba'al pikachat. if the deaf brother, the husband of the normal woman, died without children, what should the normal brother, the husband of the normal woman, do? He performs either yibum or chalitza because she was married to his deaf-mute brother on a rabbinic level. She's not related to his present wife, so therefore all the regular laws of yibum apply in this case, yibum or chalitza. Met pikach bal pikachat, but if the normal brother, the husband of the normal woman, died without children, ma yaseh cheresh bal pikachat. What should the deaf brother, the husband of the normal woman, do? He can't do chalitza because he's deaf, so therefore kones, he marries the widow by performing yibum because she's not related to his wife. Ve'eno motzi leolam, but once he takes her yibum, he cannot divorce her anymore. His marriage is valid on a biblical level, and a deaf mute, like we learned before, cannot divorce anybody biblically because you need consent intention to do so. Two more of these cases, and then we'll conclude. Shnei achim pikchim, two normal brothers. Nesuim lishte nochriot, married to two strangers. Achad pikachat ve'achad chereshet, one of them normal, one of them deaf. Met pikach bal chereshet, the normal brother, who was the husband of the deaf mute, died without children. Ma yaseh pikach bal pikachat, what should the normal brother, the husband of the normal woman, do? Kones, he marries the widow by performing yibum with her. Ve'im ratzah leosi yosi, and afterwards, if he wants to divorce her, he can divorce her. He's normal. She can accept a divorce, even though she's deaf mute. She can nod, and that we learned that that's fine. Met pikach bala pikachat, but if the normal brother, the husband of the normal woman, died without children, ma yaseh pikach bal chereshet, what should the normal brother, who's the husband of the deaf mute woman, do? Or cholet or miyabem. He either performs chalitza, since both he and the widow are not deaf mutes, or yibum, since the widow is not related to him. Last case. Shnei achim, two brothers. Echad cheresh ve'echad pikach. One of them is deaf, the other one is normal. Nesuim lishte nochriot, married to two strangers, unrelated women. Echad chereshet ve'echad pikachat. One of them is deaf, and one of them is normal. Met cheresh bal chereshet, if the deaf-mute brother who was married, the husband of the deaf-mute woman, died without children, ma yaseh pikach bal pikachat, what should the normal brother, the husband of the normal woman, do? Kones, he cannot perform chalitza since he's deaf, so he should marry the widow by performing yibum. She's not related to him, it's fine. V'im ratzah leotzi yotzi, and afterwards if he wants to divorce her, he can divorce her. Since he is normal, she can accept divorce even though she's deaf-mute, she can nod. Met pikach bal pikachat, but if the normal brother, the husband of the normal woman, died without children, ma yaseh cheresh bal chereshet, what should the deaf-mute brother, the husband of the deaf-mute woman, do? Kones, he should marry the widow by performing yibum with her since she's not related to him. He cannot perform chalitza because he is a deaf-mute. Ve'eno motzi leolam, but he can never divorce her once he takes her with yibum because yibum is biblically valid. And a deaf-mute husband cannot divorce biblically because he needs proper intention.